Baltimore and WNST.net. As a part of our Hall of Fame month, I'm providing my favorite conversations ever. Once was my famous golf tirade about the first time that I went golfing. I believe it was in 1995 or 1996. I have that tape. Robert Canady is here. He golfs every day. He says he only golfs once or twice a week, but golf is his life. He's at Compass Pointe Golf when he's not hooping and bucketing out on Twitter as Buckets and Birds. We welcome him back onto the program. Man, it's quiet in the summertime with these majors now, 3 gone, 1 up, and we got a little bit of a hot weather thing here, but I guess this is the prime of the golf season where people do have vacations, they have time off, and your course is probably pretty full, right, when it's not raining.
Yeah, absolutely. The summer season's kicked in. Schools are out for the most part around the area, and so June is a really busy outing month for us. Because typically it's been pretty nice weather. We have a little bit of a hot streak this week, but it's kind of one of the prime golf months of the year for all those reasons. Weather's usually good in schools and everything. So, then we do head into a little bit of the dog days of summer, like everyone else in July and August. It's hot out there, but it's you'd rather be out in shorts in the middle of August and bundled up in January, so it's never a bad day for golf really out here. So we enjoy it, when we can during this time of year.
I'm having fun next month. I'm doing all these Hall of Fame chats. I'm trying to find for you my Darryl Green conversation. I found a John Riggins, okay? So there is a John Riggins that exists for a Super Bowl, maybe like 97, 98. He sat down with me. And, of course, he did radio for the longest time as well. Right. So I'm trying to find some Redskins for you. But, Deion Sanders, he was a Redskin for a minute. I had a chat with him. Yeah. So I'm doing all this stuff, and I found this old golf chat, and it was just this funny thing where I went out with friends of mine and golfed, and a fox ran out. It was the first time I had ever golfed. It was kind of hot. I suffer from some hay fever and some pollen and whatnot. So it was sort of a lighthearted take on golf that day. But I remember the first time I golfed, and my friend Norm Vikoski took me down to Furnace Branch out onto a driving range and taught me the right way to hold the club. Like, literally, I held it up. I got to find my Tony Gwynn baseball bat. It's in the closet here. I scream for my wife. She'll get it for me. But you don't hold a golf club the way you hold a baseball bat, right? And I had to learn that. What would be your advice? Like, let's say my wife, after her second cancer battle, really wants to learn how to golf, and she's golfed before and taken a lesson or whatever 20 years ago, but what would be your first piece of advice when someone walks into Compass Pointe and says, this is my first day on a golf course ever, or since I was a kid, or since I was a teenager, or whatever, and I want to learn to do this the right way? What would you say for someone that's taking up the sport?
Yeah, great question. It sounds, the answer is going to sound very simplistic and obvious, but, it's true. It would be, let me go grab our instructor, Corey Higgs, and let's set up a 30-minute lesson with him for you. And, that's whether that 30 minutes can encompass a lot of things, especially for a beginner. It's funny because I've had this conversation with my wife recently, and she said if she were to do it, she'd want to spend the first hour, not even with a club in her hand, but knowing the etiquette of it, like where to stand, when not to talk, when to move, because the last thing she'd want to do is get on the course and be one of these people that, no one wants to be with because they don't know what they're doing etiquette-wise and everything. And there are some people like that. Then there's others that, like in the first 30 minutes, they want you to teach them to become a single-digit golfer, having never touched the club before. So, but I would.
But everybody's played putt-putt, right? Like, I was at the beach with my wife. I mean, I'm not being facetious here. I mean, everyone has held a golf club at the beach for $4 or $6 or whatever it costs to play Old Pro, these days, and had the joy of having the ball go into the cup, right? I mean, everybody has felt that.
Yeah, and that's, oddly enough, that's usually where the instructors begin. They teach the game backwards. They don't take you out to the tee with a driver and say, okay, now we're going to hit this thing 250 yards down the fairway. They'll start on the putting green and say, okay, here's what you do on the putting green. Here's what you, kind of get that touch in and everything. And then they'll, move out to a little chipping and pitching, little short swings with that, and the swings progressively get longer. So the game, if it's taught properly, is taught backwards from green to tee. And that's, that's the best thing that a lot of beginners could do is, like I said, maybe start with the putting and then work their way back to a fuller swing. But by all means, getting a lesson. And not a lesson from your husband or wife. That's one of the worst things you can do.
Hey, honey, I'll teach you how to hold a baseball bat. By the way,
right.
Robert, I'm holding the baseball bat here, and the reason I'm holding it, first off, it's going to promote my Hall of Fame month because it's a really cool bat, and I'll show it to you in a minute. But, how you hold a baseball bat, and I found it funny that the LifeBridge billboards had Cal Ripken holding the bat the wrong way on the billboard.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And so, I've held a baseball bat my whole life, and sometimes you choke up like Felix Millan, sometimes you go Bobby Tolan or, Ken Singleton or Eddie Murray or, whatever you do, right? But the first time I held a golf club, I held it like this, like you would hold a baseball bat. And Norm's like, no. And I'll put the bat down there because it's Tony Gwynn's bat, and I'm going to show that in a minute too. The bat's probably worth $1,000. And I got Tony Gwynn's pine tar on my hands, honey. I need a rag. I have Tony Gwynn's pine tar on my hands, which smells like Tony Gwynn's pine tar. But either way, you take your pointer finger, and I'm missing a finger, but you clip your pointer finger over, and then you put the club between, it took me 6 months of holding the golf club that way to get used to doing the pointer finger over the pinky finger, because I had held a baseball bat like a tennis racket, two-hand tennis racket, same thing, that you would never put your pointer finger over your pinky finger. But when it comes to a golf club, it holds your arm in line so that when you go back, you hold the club in a straight line and you're not hitching. And it took me 6 months, and I couldn't. And I'm not a golfer, dude. I don't love it, but I really tried to figure it out and pick it up, and it was a completely different activity than anything I was accustomed to. Holding a lacrosse stick, which I did very little of, but I had done it. Holding a baseball glove, a hockey stick. I mean, I played a ton of hockey, and there was nothing. You had held a lot of sticks and a lot of bats, but there was nothing quite like holding a golf club, Rob.
Yeah, no, you described it perfectly, and I was one also. I came from playing baseball all through my youth, and then playing adult league softball at a pretty high level. And so your natural instinct is to grab it like a baseball bat, and that's how I played golf probably for the first year or two that I did it.
Oh, you broke your own rule. You didn't even take a lesson.
Well, no, I didn't. Of course, that's my rule now, not when I was, 21 years old. When you're 21 years old, you know everything. You've got all the world's problems, solved, so you don't need, no stinking lessons, as they'd say. So,
well, this is my Tony Gwynn bat. I just want to show everybody that's watching it on the webcam because I'm promoting the month of July. Tony Gwynn gave me this bat. He pulled it out of a bat rack in Houston, and he signed it. He said he was giving away all his bats. This was in probably August of 2001, and I had set up and I visited him a couple of weeks later in San Diego. I played the interview around here on Tuesday and Wednesday of him sitting with me at Jack Murphy Stadium. So I have all of these old interviews, man, and I had a bat within reach, and I thought, I'm going to show people the wrong way to hold a golf club, which is the right way to hold a baseball bat, by the way, right?
Right, yeah. And there are still people. I know people that still play golf with the quote-unquote baseball grip. It's called a 10-finger grip, and that's the way they learned, and they stuck with it. And it you can do it. I mean, there's 3 basic grips, and baseball grip is one of them. It's certainly by not any means the most common or the most instructed method. But
I haven't touched that bat since 2001. I mean, I put it in this big plastic thing, dude. I have black all over me. I look like I got out of a chimney. It's incredible. You touch one baseball bat, and honey, I need a wet cloth. Otherwise, I can't touch my equipment.
Stay away from all the living room furniture.
Yeah. Tell everybody what's going on down at Compass Pointe and what's going on in your world, because we have no college basketball, right? We have a last-place baseball team. You're probably a Nationals fan, which gives you a sub-500 baseball team. It's been rough sledding around here. I am glad that I'm going into the hole for Hall of Fame month around here and to work on Baltimore Positive in July.
Yeah, it's definitely been, like you said, I'm a Nationals fan. Was ready to blow up the team a month ago. But, hey, they're showing a little bit of life now. So, let's stick with it and see what happens. But, yeah, as far as out here at Compass Pointe, we got junior camps pretty much going every week now. There's a lot of information on how to get involved in those on our website, compasspointegolf.com. has a lot of information. There's half-day camps, full-day camps, that run basically Monday through Friday. So Corey's doing a great job. I've been watching him a lot this week with some of the things makes it really fun for the kids. And
he almost speaks English, almost.
Almost, yeah. And of course, he thinks he speaks perfectly fine. It's everyone else's hearing that has an issue, according to him. So, but he does great things with them as far as, some little skill challenges on the putting green, sets up, little obstacles, almost makes it a little miniature type putt course, add some fun to it. And then, of course, with the out on the range, the full swing. So we got that going on. We'll have another night golf coming up in August. And then prior to that, I guess the biggest thing we have come up is our Anne Arundel County Amateur. So that's a real competitive, real golf 2-day tournament for people that, don't like to play in the scrambles, the hit and giggles and everything. So that's the weekend of July 13th and 14th. And again, information and sign up on our website there. But it's a chance to come out and, play competitive golf against some of the better players in the area, and some really nice prizes and giveaways and everything are lined up for that. So that's the Anne Arundel Amateur. So we're getting ready for that. And then also in July, we have the weekend after that, we'll have our final majors par 3 contest, in conjunction with the British Open. So we'll have that, going on.
I have Tony Gwynn's Pine Tar all over my computer right now. How much can I auction off Tony Gwynn's Pine Tar for? I now have it on a wet nap. Robert Canady is here. Compass Pointe Golf. They're down there every day, 36 holes. All you got to do is show up most days, right? Give a call, go online. Say I want to play Saturday. How do I get a tee time? The easiest way.
Yeah, if it's in the morning, basically you can go online or call, and chances are they'll tell you there's a slot that you can get in. You can come on out without a tee time, and, you might have to wait maybe 30 minutes or so at the most, but in the morning. But if you come out in the afternoon, they'll pretty much be able to get you out on one of the 2 courses right away if you want to come out after work and get a late afternoon round in, or a late afternoon 9 holes or something like that. There's always room for anyone that comes out.
Buckets and birds. That's the way to follow Robert Canady. You can find that at Compass Pointe Golf. And we'll get back to some majors in a couple of weeks. I hope you have a beautiful July. I know we're taking a little bit of downtime here before we get up later on in the month. But have a good one out there. Hit them straight, and hopefully you hit another hole in one. Come back, tell me about it.
That'll be great. You'll be the first to hear about it. Thanks, Nestor.
I'll be mentioning that all summer. Robert had a hole in one about 3 weeks ago, so we've been having some fun with him. Nasty at WNST.net, the way to find me. I will never touch Tony Gwynn's bat again without gloves, without appropriate netting. By the way, I saw the new netting up. I went to Oriole Park on Tuesday night. The long netting across first and third base. It was different. I'm not saying you have to have it. I had a dear friend of mine hit in the face at Comiskey Park last year. You have to have that, but it is different. It's different seeing the game that way and going and being a part of it. It was different being out there when nobody was there as well. It's different being out there wearing a Tony Gwynn jersey. Somebody said, did I take some grief for that? And I'm like, the Orioles are in last place. I'm wearing a Tony Gwynn jersey because I love Tony Gwynn. Always loved Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn loved me more than the Orioles loved me, which is why I wore my Tony Gwynn jersey. And which is why I'm playing Tony Gwynn next month and not Peter Angelos, because one of them's in the Hall of Fame. So Hall of Fame month is here. It is July. You will hear from everyone literally that I can find that I've ever spoken to, including finding the holy grail of the first ever chat with Ray Lewis at the Barn on September 2nd, 1996. Yes, I found the tape. Now, if I could just find that Geddy Lee tape from my mom's house in 1984. But I do have some Geddy Lee, a couple Geddy Lee chats, Billy Joel chats, David Bowie, Nils Lofgren, JY from Styx, 42 Rock and Roll Hall of Famers and a few that should be, Joan Jett, Cheap Trick, all sorts of stuff. So, July, it's ahead. It's Hall of Fame month. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.